everyone, it's P4L. In today's P4L review, we'll be taking a look at another set of Iron Factory toys. This is their EX-20F, their Fangs of Tyranny. This is their original coneheads. So we have, what are their names? It's Thrust, Ramjet, and Dirge, or they go by, what is it? Puncture, Occlus, with an odd spelling, and Growl. But as you can see, the packaging is pretty much standard for Iron Factory. We do have some images on the top, on the sides, there, some warnings on the bottoms, made in China, as are most things nowadays, it seems like. And then we also have the back image that shows off their various modes, including their weaponry and such and so forth. And you can see some of their QR code goodness. Pretty standard stuff here. Once you get the package open, you do get a clamshell that also includes a secretly hidden figure. You have the chest of their Sunstorm. I believe its name is Clone. So you get the torso. The arms and legs came with their Skywarp and Thundercracker. I don't remember which comes with which. But unfortunately, I don't have either of them. So none of that. You also get instructions. Where did the instructions go? Oh, here they are. Sorry about that. They were stuck in the box. And you want to get one set of instructions. They're pretty much the same transformations. The molds are only slightly different, as we'll see once we get them all out. For example, the lower legs, these moldings here are different. Their missiles or blasters are slightly different between them. And then I think maybe some of their back molding, like these pieces here, are different, obviously, especially for Thrust, who's known for his kind of odd-shaped, what's it called? His odd-shaped wings with the turbines and everything like that. Let's see if we can get them kind of close. They all also come with this flight stand adapter. So if you have the flight stand from their Starscream, you can utilize that. And then really quickly, we'll take a look at this guy. You can see the torso. Looks like the Starscream mold. Again, I can't really do much with that. But if you did have the pieces from the other sets, you'll be able to utilize those. Alright, so here's... Oh, sorry about that. All three of them, they do stand quite well. It's just that out of the packaging, their feet are kind of mistransformed. So really quickly, let's go ahead and adjust these so that they're splayed out in the right way. Robot mode, they look really nice. So these are not G1 style, they're more of the, I think, the Raptor style that IDW created for them. So a lot of this line is kind of IDW-ish, which I wasn't really familiar with because I never read the comics. I started collecting way after those comics came out. But in any case, here, let's zoom in a little bit. Let's take a quick 360 of all of them. They clean up really well. Again, these are Legend scale figures. I think the set come in at like $80, so you're paying about 25-ish, 26-ish, and change for each of them. Pretty much the same mold, like I said. The only real differences here are the guns here. You can see that they're all different. The lower legs are differently molded based on their characters, and then these back fin things here. Alright, so I'm going to only show transformation once because it doesn't really make sense to show it more than once, and that'll just take up too much time. Quick note, you can take these blasters off and use them as handguns if you'd like. I don't know why you would want to do that, but if you wanted to, you can do that. And then they'll also play double duty as blasters that can peg underneath in the wings. If you want to leave them on the arms for transformation, you can do that. That's not a problem. You can transform that without issue. So really quickly, let's go into articulation. Or actually, let's look at the head sculpt real quick. I always forget to do that. Some people like to see the nice detailed head sculpt. The mouth is slightly open. They are on a ball joint, so good range there. As far as the rest of the articulation, I like these better than the Lambros that I reviewed just the other day. The articulation is much better. There's less interference, and you can get these wings out of the way and angled For example, for thrust, if you kind of want to have a more G1-ish look where the thrusters are a little bit further down, you can do that, although they will be facing the non-accurate way. But you do have options there. You do have ball-jointed shoulders in addition to that swivel, bicep swivel, which is always nice for figures this small, a nice elbow bend, and then you even get wrist swivel with these guys. No hollowness in the arms or anything. You do get a waist swivel, which is 360, ball jointed hips, thigh swivel in addition to that, nice knee bend, and down here you actually have ankles on ball joints, which is nice, and I think they actually have a hinge in here too. Yeah, so they actually have a hinge, which you use for transformation to get it back in like that. But for robot mode, you want to get it out and extended as much as possible to get you that range. Toe articulation, no separate heel, but again, you got that ball joint, so you can kind of make use of that as kind of heel articulation with the separate toe. So I think that's it. Again, with these ports, you can use flight stands. I don't have Starscream, so I can't use that flight stand, but it looks like a generic 5mm peg. So any flight stand that supports 5mm, you should be able to use. All right. So let's get started with transformation. Very easy transformation. Nothing really surprising here. The first thing I like to do is just go ahead and unpeg the backpack. You just pull back out like this, straighten this piece out, and then flip these around. This is going to be the same for all of them, just the different parts. They're going to look slightly different. And then you can go ahead and push on this, what will be the landing gear, the front landing gear. Push that through the chest. That's going to come through. Fold out the nose cone and tab that into place. And you're going to push back on here. So once you have that done, you can lay the back of the fuselage in place, and you'll have this tab here on the front, and there's a kind of a recess here. It's not a true tab, and you'll see what I mean. It's one of my frustrations. Once you put it in, you can still push it in, and it'll get off alignment. I don't really like that, and it's kind of a hassle when you're transforming it. And you'll probably see what I'm talking about. All right, so coming to the lower legs, let's deal with that first. What you need to do is actually flip out the landing gear, because when you collapse the legs in, if you don't flip these out, it's not going to collapse right, or you might damage your figure, so be careful there. As I said before, go ahead and rock the foot back on that ankle joint into or towards the rear, and at the same time you can fold in the toes. And flip these up, tab both halves of the legs together, and as with the Lambros, you're just going to go ahead and collapse these in. You just kind of want to get the knees bent like this and then pushed into the legs. One of the things that they don't show in the instructions, which is really important, is that these clips here have to go into this recess. So you gotta kind of go like that. It sounds pretty scary. And like I was saying, like you usually are gripping somewhere around here and it ends up misaligning this front section. Keep these angled kind of like this and make sure these are straightened out. You're almost done here now. You might want to pull the wings back just a little bit. The reason is you have double jointed shoulder joints that extend out like so, and you'll have that small peg on the back of the shoulders that the wings will peg into. Oh, sorry, if you want, go ahead and flip those around like that. Same thing on the other side. And one thing that I found is that the legs tend to like to split open. It's not a huge deal because you can just squeeze them back in, and they're tightly joined. I just don't know why they keep splitting. But it happens to all the figures. I'm not really sure why. Again, not a huge deal since you can just squeeze them and it's not like you're damaging the figure. I'm just wondering what part of the transformation is causing that. I think it might be this clipping on part because it always seems to happen at that point. But with that, and make sure you have this straightened out. Yeah, see, this is the other things. Because the tolerances is really tight, it doesn't really like to stay in place here. So a little bit of an annoyance up there. But with that, you have their, what is it, puncture? The thrust. We're just going to call them thrust. In the alt mode. Again, if you want, you can go ahead and unpeg these and peg them underneath. I actually like switching the orientations around so that you don't have any of the hollowness showing, and then you can kind of hide the peg hole towards the inside of the fuselage. So this is actually his right null ray, or whatever you want to call it, and this is his left, and so they're flipped around this way. Yeah, this is his left one, and this is his right one. Anyway, you get the idea. Lastly, if you want to use the flight stand, all you do is grab one of these and clip it right onto like the crotch. So you want to have this section going into the big gap, and then you can go ahead and peg that in. So for your display, you may want to make use of that. Otherwise, this is it for the alt modes. Let me go ahead and quickly take a break and bring these guys up to speed. Okay? So we're back, and we have all three of the Fangs of Tyranny in their alt modes. And they're pretty much the same, right? They're actually quite nice looking. I like the details on the top of the shoulders, which mimic intakes here. Obviously not the most aerodynamic of figures. The part that really bothers me about these are really the nose cone piece here. I wish it actually had a solid tab here that kept this kind of locked into place. And again, that would keep this from like kind of flopping around. You can fold up the landing gear here and a little bit here, but these don't go all the way in because that space is occupied by the thighs now. Thrust has always been my favorite of the coneheads just because I think he's the most visually interesting. I love the red, the dark maroon red and black color scheme, as well as his interesting thrusters. So I always keep him front and center. He's my favorite of the bunch, as usual. Ramjet's also kind of cool, I guess, but I just like the defining characteristics of this guy. And these guys look so close, it's almost pointless of having them, I think. In any case, that's it for the transformation and alt mode review there. Let's go back into robot mode and finish off with final thoughts. All right. So first thing we'll do is go ahead and just take these off. Since we're going to transfer them back to the arms. And again, I've chosen to flip them around in orientation. These pegs are kind of thin. Although they're nice, sturdy Iron Factory plastic, I don't have any concerns about them. But, you know, as always, just be careful with your figures. Bring the arms up after you've unpegged them there. And you'll see these little nubs that actually kind of slot into place here. All right, the legs, we're going to go ahead and just pull downwards on these to release that clip and just extend the legs out. And these mechanisms seem to work a little bit better than the Lambros, just because they actually have a stopping point here, while their Sunstreaker and Sideswipe, you could overextend and over pull out the knee joint. So I don't know why they went with that design over this one that they have here that I think worked really well. Here, let's go ahead and untap this, bring this up. You can flip the wings around if that's what you want to do as far as your display options go. Flip down the nose cone and push all of this down and into the main body. Use the double hinge to get these up and tabbed in here. You can fold down this little neck joint, and that's a gap cover. And with that, with a little bit more positioning, you'll have your cone heads back in robot mode. So, final thoughts on this set. I really enjoy them. I think they're pretty fun. The transformation is pretty simple. You don't really need instructions to kind of figure out how everything works and gets into place. If you like coneheads and seekers, I think this set is for you. That said, $80, $25 a piece, you know, for Legend scale is a 2.5 times worth on a Hasbro Legends figure. You know, in terms of materials, yeah. In terms of transformation, it's not that innovative. Articulation, it is actually really good. I think that's what they've done a really good job with these guys. They have a lot of really nice articulation for such a small figure. But the quality is really nice. You get some nice metallic flake pieces on some sections here. Like most of this is actually not just black or gray. It has some metallic flake in it. You have some silver details. So you do get some quality pieces. And again, the solid plastic and build quality of Iron Factory make it the only legends that I even bother collecting anymore at this point. I've sold all of my other legends, I think. Oops. And as a bonus, you do get the attachment or the extra Build-A-Figure piece for Sunstorm. So if you really want Sunstorm and you couldn't get that, I think, convention exclusive they have, this is really going to be your only way to get that. Which I find a little annoying. I don't like the whole Build-A-Figure kind of have to buy the whole line marketing, sales kind of strategy. But it is what it is, right? In any case, I'm talking too much. Hopefully this guy's helped you guys out. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below, as always. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And as if you want to add this guy to your collection, these guys to your collection, you can go ahead and click on the Toy Dojo link in the description below. They are of course, my sponsor, and these guys are in stock there. All right? That's all for today, everyone. Hope you have a good one.